All right, so what should you put in your trauma kit? We do have rescue packs here, but if you want to make your own, you just need a bag. I use a fanny pack for the most part, and I keep it in my van, and then I kind of take it off and I ride with it. But what you're gonna want is stuff for bleeding control. So part of the rescue is remaining calm. So that's gonna be more of that mental stuff. So you're gonna want to tell someone to call 911 or you call 911, but remain calm. So do some box breathing because it's gonna be an amped up situation, kind of like doing this right here. And then you want to ensure your own safety, mainly because you don't want to be part of the incident. Okay, so you don't want to get hit by a vehicle, so look for hazards. Also, make sure you wear some nitrile gloves. With the rescue pack, you can order what kind of gloves you have, but you can get a whole box of them. Use them for when you do maintenance on your bike, anyways. Get them the size that you need. But put a few in your trauma kit so that way you don't get any bloodborne pathogens or anything like that. Keep your helmet on, visor, protect your eyes and everything like that. But mainly stop major bleeds. That's going to be the big one here when it comes to motorcycle crashes because major bleeds, somebody bleeding out, not a good thing, and it's very preventable. You can be sitting on, after a crash like this, and then there's bleeding out before EMS shows up or firefighters, paramedics, whatever, and stopping the bleed. They could have survived. It's a very preventable thing. So what I have in my trauma kit is I have at least one tourniquet. So I like to have four in my fanny pack because you have two arms, two legs, and then maybe one person crashes, two people crash, three people crash, and they have one has a laceration on one arm, another one has it on the leg. You want to have multiple, but at least having one is good because you can apply direct pressure, and then you can pack the wound with some of other things like roll gauze, which we have in here. So I have at least one tourniquet. I have multiple roll gauze in here. You could have some of the quick clot type stuff that works great, but mainly what you're trying to do is pack the wound so that you can put pressure on that bleeding vessel. Inside the rescue pack, we do have the rescue card, which is right here, so you can just kind of look at it, know what it is, so you can kind of stay focused if you forget what you're trying to do. I like to have an emergency thermal blanket, okay, like a space blanket. Keep them warm, especially if it's cold out. You want to keep them warm. It also works really well to kind of block views of things, just in case it's kind of a really bad one. And then inside here, I do have a lot of sterile gauze. So these are called 4x4s. So they're just basically like 4 inches by 4 inches, 3.5 by 3.5, whatever it is. And basically, what it is just a nice little thing here. And that's good for like if it's a small laceration for any like venous bleeding or capillary bleeding, you can put that on there and then you can wrap it with one of these roll gauze. So it's kind of like a little boo-boo kit type of a thing. So I have about like 3 or 4 of those inside in my actual fanny pack. I have a lot more because I carry a lot more. And then also I like to have these abdominal pads. They're called 5x9s. Basically, it's like a women's pad, just really big. It's very absorbent. Same thing, if you're bleeding out a lot, you can put that on there too. You can wrap it. It's really good for bleeding control, just like minor bleeding control. But if they're having arterial spray, you're going to want to put a tourniquet high and tight. It's called a hasty tourniquet. Put it up there nice and high and tight. Cinch it down. Use the windlass to cut it off, the blood flow, not the arm. And there's lots of ways to do it. You can Google it. You can find it on YouTube. I do have instructional videos on Motorcycle Training Concepts YouTube channel for that. Also, I have a triangular bandage. So it usually comes with 2 in here, and it's a nice long bandage. You can make a sling and swath. So if they do have like a broken collarbone, I want to keep them comfortable. So I'm going to make a sling and swath. Once again, Motorcycle Training Concepts, there is a whole video series on how to use this kit. So very, very important. That's what I have in there. Also, a nice little Sharpie so you can write down the time when you put the tourniquet on when you're stopping that major bleed. Trauma shears. I like to have some trauma shears because once you do like a rapid trauma assessment on the arms, legs, chest, abdomen, everything, and you find some blood and they have their gear on, cut that gear off so you can get to the injury site and then stop that major bleed. That's super duper important because if you don't, they're just gonna keep bleeding out. That's it. You can't really put, gauze on top of their clothing and stop the bleed. So you're gonna want to stop that. That's pretty much what I have inside my kit. I have a bunch of like the extras. So I have like multiples of everything just in case something does fail. But that's what I have in my trauma kit. Very simple. And if you don't feel comfortable, doing all these major like controlling bleed type things, just do at least these first 2. Remain calm, ensure your own safety. That's really it. If you don't want to put a tourniquet on because you're kind of scared, put a lot of pressure on that bleeding wound and don't let go. Okay. You want to keep it there for like 5-10 minutes. You want to put some pressure. So if you're pushing really hard and you're starting to get tired, put your knee on top of them. They're on the ground. Put your knee on top of the wound and kind of put your weight into it. what you're trying to do for that long is to create that clotting going on. You want to shut off that blood vessel, create the clotting. Don't take off until somebody shows up. Okay, so that's what I have in my kit. I have a bunch of extra stuff in my fanny pack. I wish I brought it in here, but this is a great question on the live stream. So I'll see you guys on the next live stream.